with great pleasure, I would like to introduce one of Loretto College's famous little lanterns, author and former Loretto College student, Viga Boland.
I have a horrible feeling I'm going to get rained on very shortly. Is that your message? Should I take that as a bad sign or something like that? I certainly hope not. I think I might move that down here, just in case. I'm not very good at standing and talking at microphones. I tend to be one of these people that wanders all over the place when I'm talking. And my husband said, don't do that because I'm running the video and I can't keep chasing you around with the video. And I said to me, I've got to be rooted to the spot. He said, yes. So I said, okay, I'm going to be rooted to the spot. Anyway, let me begin by saying never in the 50 years that have gone since I left this school in 1965 did I think for one moment that I would be standing here in front of all of you on these grounds of a school that meant so much to me between the years of 1960 to 1965. This is an incredible honor and a huge pleasure, and I cannot thank Judy Pedroza and the committee enough for bringing this together and inviting me to be a part of your centennial celebrations. I'd also like to thank each and every one of you for coming out here today. Given the weather and given it's Sunday, and it's Sunday, I've been a day ahead all week. It's Saturday, shopping day. I am just so glad that you had made the time to come out and join me here for this occasion, which is very important to me, and I hope will be important to you too. And I know it is, or you wouldn't be here. Silly thing to say. Okay, so with all that, I listened very intently to what Mary said just now, and I was thinking about ladies. The other day when I was wondering, how should I start talking about this? I decided to go to the dictionary and look up the definition of lady. And a lady, according to the dictionary, is of higher social standing, dignified, refined, and well-mannered, and preferably of noble birth. What can I say? I am not of higher social standing. I'm just an ordinary Joe. I'm often not very refined. I'm far from dignified, and sometimes I have trouble even being well-mannered, but I do try. However, and the noble birth bit, well, I wish. No, I can't say that that happened either. However, I am a lady of Loretto, and what Mary said in her introduction said it to me very, very loudly, because one of the things she said is going out and being a voice for the voiceless. And I think over the years that is what I have become through my books and so forth, and also shining a light into people's lives. I like to think that that's what I do. And when you look at my background, that becomes even more significant. So I've been told I have to keep this fairly short, so I'm not going to ramble on too much here, but I would like to give you some background as to how I came to write The Ladies of Loretto. Let me tell you, from word go, this was the book I always wanted to write. This was always in my mind over 50 years, but I never actually dreamed that I would do it. I have other books with me here today, and they actually took precedence, and I wrote them before I wrote this. Not because I wanted to write them, no, not at all. But the entire time that the little gal who is in this book here, Heidi Kubala, as people knew me then, and you'll see when you read the book, every teacher stumbled over my name and embarrassed me to heck and back. At the time that I was a student entering grade 9, 1960, I was also living at home with my father, who was sexually abusive to me. And this was a very, very difficult time of my life. But it was something I couldn't tell anybody about. So the girl here is the girl in here. And this one would probably never have spoken, excepting, well, I certainly didn't, not through all those years of high school. I have classmates here, Anna Maria, Joan Ann, Lorraine Travers, former vice principal here at the school. They are all girls who were in my class and graduated with me. And we've talked about it since, and none of them knew what I was going through at home. That's how much we keep that kind of secret hidden, don't we? And I kept it hidden much longer than that. I went on and became a teacher myself at St. Joseph's High School, and eventually met and married my husband, my white knight over there, who supports me left, right, and center. And that gentleman helped me become even more of a lady after my very rough beginnings. But despite that, I still kept silent for over 40 years. I told no one about what was going on in my home. And I probably would have taken that secret to the grave with me, excepting about 3 years ago, something was on TV. We hear so much about sexual abuse these days, and I always get very upset when I hear stories about sexual abuse and what is going on. And my younger daughter, who is a singer and entertainer today, turned to me and said, "Mom, something happened in your life, didn't it?" She said, "You never talk about it, but I know it did." I don't know where she got that idea from, and she said, "Why don't you tell us?" We were having dinner. Need I tell you that when I started to tell the story, my poor husband lost his appetite and just sat there and said, "What?" He did not know. He did not know until 3 years ago. So this was a big shock. And of course I kept it secret. I was afraid that I would lose the man I loved. But I figured at this point in my life, we've been together so long, he's hardly likely to divorce me. It's too late to go and chase somebody else anyway. So, you know, I figured, okay, whatever. And thanks to him, I am here today, and thanks to my daughter as well. Because she then said to me, "Mom, you always dreamed of being a writer. You've told me that for years and years. Why didn't you go write that book?" And I said, "Oh, that's not the kind of book I want to write." And she said, "Yeah, but you know what?" She said, "That's an important book. You need to write that book. You've got to help the other victims of sexual abuse out there. Go out there and, in effect, be a voice for the voiceless." So I wrote the book. And a year later, after the book came out, I was delighted to have received a gold medal for this book, which was really very, very nice. So thank you. And I'm not famous by any means, but all that matters to me more than that gold medal is the hundreds of people that it spoke to, the victims that it's helped worldwide. I've received letters from people everywhere saying, "Thank you for writing the book. Thank you for saying what I was not able to say and I still cannot say." And that to me is a wonderful thing. So I'm very happy about this book. So I would have left it there, excepting that my friends and fans said, "Well, what's your next book going to be?" And I said, "What next book?" And they said, "Well, what happened after you left home and you got away from that?" I said, "I got married and had kids. That's really exciting, you know?" And they said, no, we want to know about that." And I thought, well, how do I turn that into a book that people are going to want to read? Well, I came up with Learning to Love Myself because my whole process of recovery was a process of self-discovery, finding out that I wasn't the ugly little kid that came to Loretto College School back in 1960, that there really was a nice person behind all that. And I had to find that person all over again, and I've spent all those years until now learning to love myself, because once we love ourselves, we can love everybody else. So my second book is a story of recovery. And then, after that was done, I said, "Are we done now with all this awful stuff?" And they said, "What would you like to write?" I went, "This one, The Ladies of Loretto." "Why that one?" I said, "Because that was 4 of the best years of my life. When I was suffering at home, I would come to this school, and my classmates, my teachers, everybody, they took me away from all that. So while I was here at the school, I was a happy camper." And that might be why when I hooked up some years ago with Anna Maria Castrilli here, and we were having dinner, and she started to say, "Well, you were like this and that in high school." I said, "I was?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, "You came across like that." And I went, "Who, me?" I did not see myself that way. I saw myself totally differently. And that actually became one of the themes behind writing, or one of the reasons for writing this book. It wasn't just to recall the fun and the happiness and the tears and the joy and the laughter and the silly things that we did, but it was also to say that even after 4 years, how much did anybody know about me? How much did I know about them? And then we all went out there our separate ways, split to four different sides of the world and so forth, until we come back to something like this. So I kind of brought that into the book, as well as the tears and the laughter and the fun. And I talked about the world's finest chocolates and the trench coats that they made us wear, which we all despised, and all that stuff. And the choral, I mean, I love music, and I was very much a part of the choral group, and I wanted to be in it so badly, and all that kind of a thing. And I know that's a Loretto tradition. And I had such pleasure the other day in finding out that there are still some records around with those songs on them that we recorded. Lorraine Travers gave me two long play records, and I'm getting very, very wet. 33s that had a lot of the songs that we recorded on them. And one of them was the song we love to sing, which is called Blue is the Flag of Loretto. Anybody remember that song? Yes, wasn't it wonderful? And it was a huge shock to me to find out when I was speaking with Judy Pedrosa after she read the book. And she said, I never knew there was a school song. And that was, you're kidding, you didn't know there was a song? I thought we have to dig it up. So thanks to Lorraine, we now have a copy of that song, which I want to play for you in just a few minutes. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up because I'm getting extremely wet, and it's not much fun having it dripping down my back. Oh, thank you, dear. That's better. I'm singing in the rain. Here we go. Okay, that helps. Oh my goodness, thank you. But I won't drag it out for you. I just want to say again, thank you all for coming out. I could do a reading from the book. I don't want to do that. I want you to experience it firsthand. And I hope that you take away from it what already so many people who have read it have told me was, oh my goodness, you opened up so many memories for me, and I've got a ton more to share with you. And I think, well, if you've got a ton more, where were you when I was writing the book? Because I was really struggling. And I made up names for the nuns because I couldn't remember their names. I think only 4 nuns I remembered their names, you know. So if any nuns got called something they shouldn't have been called, it was accidental because I couldn't remember your names. So that kind of a thing. So there are some inaccuracies and so forth. Like I said that we had our graduation dance at the Palace Pier. It turned out it was the Boulevard Club. And I just had the book redone and I still forgot to change it. You know, it's one of those things. What can you say? I'm getting old. I mean, these things go past us. Anyway, I'll let you experience the book for yourself. I do have a website. I really hope that people will come over and leave comments on that website for me. And maybe you'll share some of your memories, because it wouldn't put it past me to say, why don't we put an anthology together and get a Ladies of Loretto #2 out of all of this? Wouldn't that be a great idea? I think that's a really good idea. Maybe we could start a legacy here of books written by others through the years. Actually, one of the students from '89 has contacted me and said, I want to write what you've written. I want to do it for our year. Go for it. I think it's a great idea. Let's do it, okay? So, before that rain gets any heavier, are you ready for Blue is the Flag of Loretto? Yeah, all right, we're going to play it. And by the way, I just want to let you know, if you haven't bought your book yet, the books are actually $10, but they're $15 today because we're donating $5 to the school. And if you want any of my other books, they're $20, but I'm also donating $5 of those toward the school. Thanks for listening. Here comes Blue is the Flag of Loretto. Press play, please. Let's hope it works. Who remembers? Sing! Sing! I don't Something about our star, gold and gray. That's it. In every year of battle, we call him Mother to be. And with the shield of Loretto, march on to victory. Loretto, Loretto, alma mater to be. Is that great song? Loretto, I don't hear you. Loretto, hear our prayer and our plea. Your children are calling fondly. You're faster than we are, and with your